Hi friends, thank you for joining me today. Welcome to my channel, and I am going to be talking about something very different from what I have spoken about before. And today I'm talking about 7 questions you need to ask your partner before you get married, before you go into a serious relationship. So I will explain why these questions are important, but before we head into that, so my name is Joyce and I am the face behind this channel, and on this channel we talk all things health and wellness, exercise, and soon we are going to be talking about food as well, nutrition. So if that's something that you're interested in, please stick with me, share this content, and of course subscribe to this channel. So today we're talking about 7 questions you need to ask your partner before you go into a serious relationship, before you go into marriage. And these are health questions, by the way. Okay. So, question 1 is genetic conditions. Do they have any genetic conditions, or is there a family history of specific genetic conditions that they need to make you aware of? For example, if there is Down syndrome, if there is sickle cell anemia, or if there is maybe albinism in the family. And there is a very long list of genetic conditions, including like spina bifida as well. So make sure that you have this conversation openly so that you guys are all on the same level as far as this is concerned. And then number two is moving straight from genetic conditions. We need to talk about your blood group type and your rhesus factor. The reason being, sometimes you are just not compatible in terms of the blood grouping, and that can cause problems, not for yourself but for the children, if you do happen to have children in the future. So this information is very important so that you guys are aware of that as far as it concerns both of you and the future of your children, if you are people who are interested in having children rather. Number 3, very, very important, HIV status. It's very important to be aware of each other's HIV status so that you are both on the same plane and are able to protect each other. If, for example, if one of you is HIV positive, then you need to put the precautions in place for yourselves and your future children as well. I know nowadays, there are so many antivirals out there, and people can take these to a point that, the HIV virus is almost undetectable. So just make sure you're transparent with each other so that you can move forward in unity. Number 4. So number 4, it's moving from HIV, we're talking about STIs. So sexually transmitted infections. So we need to talk about, have you had any sexually transmitted infections in the past? Why would you need to know that? Because some of them, if they haven't been treated properly, they can affect your fertility in the future, and they can also be transferred between partners. So you need to be very aware of each other's STI history and take the necessary precautions. And then fertility. So we moved on from STIs. So the next, number 5, is fertility. You need to be aware of each other's fertility status, both male and female, right? So, and you can get this done, with your general practitioner, blood test, semen test for the men, and you know that. And for females, you can have scans, blood work done to make sure that your fertility is optimum for both of you, especially if you are people who are planning to have children in the future. It's very important to be aware of that, and it prevents any future stressors that you really don't need if you had discussed this beforehand. Number 6. So number 6 is any chronic conditions that your partner might have. For example, someone who is maybe type 1 diabetic, usually diagnosis is early on in life and they need to take insulin, they need to take whatever medications. So it's very important to have that discussion and be knowledgeable about each other's conditions that you might have which are ongoing, chronic. And for example, also asthma, very important to know if your partner has asthma and to be aware of what pumps they need. If in case they do have an asthma attack, you will be there on hand, assuming you are there with them. So there are so many other conditions that someone might have which are ongoing that it would be worth you both discussing those and kind of making a plan together. And then number 7 is allergies. I mean, as your medical professional, I need to know what you're allergic to in terms of medications and other things. But your partner needs to be aware of what allergies you have. For example, if you're allergic to nuts, don't just keep quiet, because a lot of foods and ingredients might have nuts in them, and your partner could do with knowing if you are allergic to that. And not only your partner really, but everyone else around you needs to be aware so that they can make sure they don't put any of those ingredients in whatever they are cooking. So these are all my 7 questions that I think are very important if you are contemplating going into a serious relationship or contemplating marriage, because these questions, unfortunately, people don't ask them until a much later stage, and you end up with unnecessary stresses and tensions which could have been avoided if these questions were asked earlier on. So I'm very interested in knowing if you have any other questions that you think are important as far as preparing for marriage, before going into a serious relationship. Please do share this with anyone that you think would benefit from this. And of course, please subscribe to this channel, because we have videos coming through every single week with a new topic each time. And let me know if there's anything else that you think I should talk about. I'm happy to do so. Otherwise, I will talk to you another time, and take care.